Hi, my name is Shinat VC. Today I am going to teach you about the topic spermatogenesis. Okay. So, what is spermatogenesis? What is spermatogenesis? Where this spermatogenesis process will occur and what is its importance and stages or the phases involved in the spermatogenesis. These are all we are going to discuss in this class. Okay. So, first let us start with the definition of the spermatogenesis. What is spermatogenesis? The process of formation of the haploid sperms. The process of formation of the haploid sperms from the diploid spermatogonia in testis is called as an spermatogenesis. Okay. Here haploid sperms will be formed. Haploid sperms means they will indicate it as an N. That means they contains the offset of the chromosomes. The process of formation of the haploid sperms from the diploid spermatogonia. Okay, so they contains the full set of the chromosomes, that is 46, and where this process is occurring in the testis. The process of formation of the haploid sperms from the diploid spermatogonia in the testis is called as in spermatogenesis. Okay, right, it's clear. The etymology. Etymology, so this spermatogenesis word derived from the Greek language which contains the two words, one is sperma and genin. Two words, sperma and genin. Sperma means seed. Sperma means seed. Genin means origin or to produce. Okay, seed is nothing but they are comparing the sperm to a seed. Okay, this is the etymology of the word spermatogenesis. This spermatogenesis process occurs in the males. Okay, so only this process will start only after males attains the puberty. And where this process will occur? This process will occur in the male gonads. What are male gonads? Male gonads are testes. A pair of testes will be present in males. And by this process, spermatogenesis, male gametes will be produced. Male gametes are nothing but the sex cells. So, male gametes are produced. What are the male gametes? They are sperms. By this spermatogenesis process, sperms will be produced. Okay. And what is the exact location or the exact place where the spermatogenesis will occur? So, that exact location is seminiferous tubules. Seminiferous tubules of the testis. These seminiferous tubules are called as a structural and functional unit of the testis because since the spermatogenesis process is occurring in the seminiferous tubules. Okay. So, which is the structural and functional unit of the testis? Seminiferous tubules. Okay. Okay, why this spermatogenesis is very important? Why should we study this spermatogenesis and what is its role in the sexual reproduction? In the sexual reproduction, natural sexual reproduction, in sexual reproduction to produce a new individual, gametes are very important. Okay, before gametes, sexes, male sex M and female sex, sexes are important. Okay, so after mating of these two sexes, their gametes will fuse. What are their gametes? Male gametes are sperms and female gametes are ova. Okay. This male gametes, sperms, are produced by a process called as spermatogenesis. Okay, just just imagine without the sperms, does the sexual reproduction will continue? No, it will stop. I am talking about the natural sexually reproducing organisms. Okay, so this spermatogenesis process is very important in sexually reproducing organisms to continue their generation. Okay, this is about some basic details about the spermatogenesis. Okay, now let's discuss about the steps involved in the spermatogenesis. There are two important steps present in the spermatogenesis process. One is spermatocytogenesis and second one is spermiogenesis. First one is spermatocytogenesis and second one spermiogenesis. Let's discuss one by one. First one is spermatocytogenesis. This spermatocytogenesis again contains three phases. First one, multiplication phase. Second one, growth phase. And third one, maturation phase. Okay, let's discuss one by one. First one, multiplication phase. Let's discuss first one, multiplication phase. In the embryonic life, there are some specialized cells called as primordial germ cells. In the embryonic life, there are some specialized cells called as primordial germ cells. Okay, so actually the gametes are direct descendants from these primordial germ cells. From there, the primordial germ cells, they will migrate to the testis. The primordial germ cells, they will migrate to the testis, and there they will reside in the testis as an immature spermatogonial cells called as an sperm mother cells. Spermatogonial cells. They are also called as an sperm mother cells. In the embryonic life, the primordial germ cells, they will migrate to the testis and there they will reside as an immature spermatogonial cells. Okay, so these spermatogonial cells, they are also called as sperm mother cells. In the multiplication phase, the spermatogonial cells, or they are also called as sperm mother cells, they will undergo continuous repeated mitotic division under the influence of the hormone, follicular stimulating hormone, and these cells, they will differentiate into the type A spermatogonia, and then these type A spermatogonial cells, they will divide to give the type B spermatogonia. Okay, I am not mentioned here type A spermatogonia, but here the spermatogonial cells, they will differentiate first to give the type A, and then type A will divide and they will differentiate to give rise to the type B spermatogonia cells. Okay, this is the multiplication phase. This multiplication phase will start only after the male attains the puberty. Okay, so now let's go to the growth phase, second phase. In the growth phase, the type B spermatogonia, their size will increase. In the growth phase, the type B spermatogonial size will increase by the accumulation of the food. Food is nothing but some cytoplasm and other cellular substances or components. Okay, and it undergo duplication of chromatin. Duplication of chromatin. As a result, the size of the type B spermatogonia will increase, and that cell stage is called as a primary spermatocyte. Okay. In the growth phase, the size of the type B spermatogonial cells will increase by the accumulation of the food like cytoplasm and other cellular components, and to undergo the duplication of the chromatin. As a result, the size will increase, and this stage the cell is called as a primary spermatocyte. Okay. And one more important thing is, this primary spermatocyte is very largest cell in the spermatogenesis process. Which is the largest germ cell in the spermatogenesis process? Yes, primary spermatocyte. Okay, now let's go to the next phase, that is maturation phase. This phase is very important. Just observe here, this is the graphical representation of the spermatogenesis process. Okay. First I told the primordial germ cells will give rise to the spermatogonial cells, and then in the multiplication phase, these spermatogonial cells they will give rise to the type B spermatogonia. Okay. Just observe here, I am written here as a 2n, 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 and here n. 2n means what? Full set of the chromosome. That means in humans we have the 46 chromosomes. Okay. That means they are diploid. That cell is a diploid cell. N means half set of the chromosome, that is 23. It contains only 23. This is a haploid cell. Okay. So now let's start with the maturation phase. So in the maturation phase, actually the primary, in the first step, in the maturation phase, first step is the primary spermatocyte undergo first meiosis. I have written here first meiosis to given two cells. Okay, two equally sized cells, they are called as a secondary spermatocyte. Okay. So these secondary spermatocytes undergo second meiosis to give rise to 4 equally sized cells called as spermatids. Is it clear? The primary spermatocyte undergo first meiosis to give rise to 2 cells called as secondary spermatocytes, and secondary spermatocyte undergo second meiosis to give rise to 4 cells, they are called as spermatids. And very important thing is the meiosis 1, I think you all know what is meiosis. Meiosis means it is a type of the cell division which undergo the traditional cell division. Okay. That means it will carry, it will share the only half of the chromosomes. For example, if parent has the 46 chromosomes, it will share only 23 to the daughter cells. This kind of the cell division is called as traditional cell division or meiosis. Okay. Here the meiosis 1 is heterotypic. Heterotypic meiosis. That means it will share the half of the chromosome. Here, look here, the meiosis 1 undergo heterotypic meiosis, heterotypic division. It will share the half of the chromosomes. Look here, n and n. But in the meiosis 2, that is homotypic or homomorphic. Yes, meiosis 2 is the homotypic division. That means it is a type of the meiosis only, but it will transfer the same set of the chromosome. Look here the n, and here also n. As I told you, the meiosis is a traditional division, but in the homotypic meiosis, the same set of the chromosomes will be shared to their offsprings or the daughter cells. Not offsprings, daughter cells. Okay. So that's why we have written here also n. Okay. So this is the maturation phase. In the maturation phase, what happens? the primary spermatocyte, I mean in the maturation phase only the meiosis process will start. Okay. So this primary spermatocyte will undergo first meiosis to give rise to secondary spermatocytes, and secondary spermatocytes undergo the second meiosis which is homotypic, then it will result in the 4 cells called as spermatids. So this completes the first step in the spermatogenesis process, that is spermatocytogenesis. Okay. And very important thing here, you should note that when will the meiosis will start in the males? Very important. When will the meiosis will start? Only male attains the puberty. Until the puberty, what happens to the what happens to the spermatogenesis process? Until the puberty, this meiosis was down regulated by a specialized transcription factor called as an STRA8 transcription factor. STRA8 transcription factor. Until the puberty in males, the meiosis or the spermatogenesis process will be down regulated by the STRA8 transcription factor. Okay, on the onset of the puberty, this STRA8 transcription factor will be neutralized and it will be upregulated by the 2 factors. They are called as an retinoic acid high levels of the retinoic acid and fibroblast growth factor 9. Very important. The meiosis was initiated by the STRA8 transcription factor. This STRA8 transcription factor was activated by the high levels or high amounts of the retinoic acid and fibroblast growth factor 9 in the males. Okay, this is a NEET question. What is the transcription factor which is responsible for the activation or upregulation of the meiosis in males or in spermatogenesis process? And what is the result of the first meiosis in the spermatogenesis process? What is the result of first meiosis? Secondary spermatocyte. What is the result of the second meiosis in the spermatogenesis? That is spermatids. Okay, till now we discussed about the spermatocytogenesis. That means that is the first stage of the first step in the spermatogenesis. In the beginning I told you there are 2 steps. One is spermatocytogenesis. This spermatocytogenesis contains 3 important phases: multiplication phase, growth phase and maturation phase. So those 3 phases that we have discussed till now. Okay. So next is Spermiogenesis. What is spermiogenesis? This is very important. This spermiogenesis, it is also called as in spermatogenesis. Just keep it in mind. Spermiogenesis is also called as in what? Spermatogenesis. Okay. So in this process, the spermiogenesis means the process of conversion of the haploid non-motile spermatids into the motile sperms is called as in spermiogenesis. It's very simple. The process of conversion of the non-motile haploid spermatids into the motile sperms is called as in what? Spermiogenesis. Okay. And one more important term here, spermiation. Spermiation means the process of releasing of the motile sperms into the cavities or the lumen of the seminiferous tubule is called as an spermiation. The process of conversion, the process of release of the motile sperms into the cavities of the seminiferous tubule is called as an spermiation. Okay, so this completes the spermatogenesis process. Okay, just I will glance the entire spermatogenesis process once. Spermatogenesis process, it will occur in males. It will occur in the male gonad, that is testis. The specific part of the testis is seminiferous tubule. That's why the seminiferous tubule is called as in what? structural and functional unit of the testis. Okay. So this spermatogenesis process, it will start only male attains the puberty. Okay. And this process, spermatogenesis process, contains the two important stages. First one is spermatocytogenesis, second one spermiogenesis. Spermatocytogenesis contains the three important phases. One is multiplication phase, growth phase, and third one maturation phase. In the multiplication phase, the number of the primordial germ cells will increase by the continuous repeated mitotic divisions. Okay, and they will give rise to the type B spermatogonia. Keep it in mind, spermatogonial cells, they are derived from the primordial germ cells. These cells first observed in the embryonic life. Okay, and these primordial germ cells migrate to the testis, and there they will reside as an immature spermatogonial cells. These immature spermatogonial cells will become activate and mature only after male attains the puberty. Okay, so under the control of the follicular stimulating hormone, these cells, spermatogonial cells, increase its number and gives rise to the type A spermatogonia, and then type A will differentiate and gives rise to the type B spermatogonial cells. This is the multiplication step. Next step is growth phase. In the growth phase, the type B spermatogonia, it will increase its size by the accumulation of some cytoplasm, and it undergo the duplication of the chromatin. As a result, the size will increase. That cell, this stage, these cells are called as primary spermatocytes. Okay, and the next is maturation phase, very important phase, because till here spermatocyte mitosis has occurred. Okay, equal number of the chromosomes has shared, but now the meiosis will occur. I am talking about the maturation phase. The primary spermatocyte undergo first meiosis, which is heterotypic. It will give rise to a cells, they are called as an secondary spermatocyte. Then once again the secondary spermatocytes undergo second meiosis, which is homotypic. Then it will give rise to the 4 haploid cells called as spermatids. Okay, so this completes the maturation phase. Okay, so next stage of the spermatogenesis is what? Spermiogenesis. Spermiogenesis means what? The process of conversion of the haploid non-motile spermatids into the motile sperms is called as what? Spermiogenesis. And then one more important term, that is spermiation. The process of releasing of the motile sperms into the lumen of the seminiferous tubule is called as spermiation. Okay. Now till here, entire this spermatogenesis process, process to produce a new sperm, in males, in humans, it will take 64 days. In humans, it will take how many days? 64 days. In T.S. of a seminiferous tubule, it is just a part of a seminiferous tubule. Okay. Here we can see the many developing spermatogonial cells. It is a basement membrane. So near to the basement membrane, the spermatogonial mother cells will be present. These are all the spermatogonial mother cells, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. So these spermatogonial mother cells, they will give rise to type A and type B spermatogonial cells. This spermatogonia type B will give rise to what? Primary spermatocytes. Okay, these three are primary spermatocytes. These primary spermatocytes again undergo the first meiosis and second meiosis to give rise to the first meiosis results in the second spermatocyte, and second is spermatocyte second meiosis results in the spermatids. Finally, by the spermiogenesis process, sperms will be formed. Okay, so just see here, some cells will be present in between the developing spermatogonial cells, very long cells. These cells are called as sustentacular cells. Sustentacular cells. They are also called as Sertoli cells. These cells are very important in the spermatogenesis process. They play a very crucial role. So they will their function is support the developing spermatids, and they will provide the nutrition to the developing spermatids. Nutrition, support, and they also function as they also do the phagocytic activity. Phagocytic activity means what? They will engulf the dead, and there will be one more specialized cells will be present in the interstitial spaces of the seminiferous tubules. Those cells are called as Leydig cells. Leydig cells. So a cluster of cells will be present in the interstitial spaces between the seminiferous tubules. Those cells are called as Leydig cells. They are also called as interstitial cells. Okay. So now let's start with the hormonal. Now let's start with the hormonal regulation of the spermatogenesis. How the hormones will regulate the spermatogenesis. On the onset of the puberty in males, the gonadotropin releasing hormone GnRH. This gonadotropic releasing hormone will be released from the hypothalamus. Okay. So this hormone will act on the anterior pituitary. It stimulates the anterior pituitary to release the two hormones. They are follicle stimulating hormone and luteinizing hormone. Gonadotropic hormone released by the on the onset of the puberty, the hypothalamus will secrete the gonadotropin releasing hormone. This hormone will act on the or stimulate the anterior pituitary to release the follicle stimulating hormone and luteinizing hormone. This follicle stimulating hormone act on the Sertoli cells of the seminiferous tubule, and luteinizing hormone directly act on the Leydig cell. Okay. So after the follicle stimulating hormone releasing into the blood, it will reach the Sertoli cells. Okay. So it will stimulate the Sertoli cells so that the Sertoli cells will nourish more and more, and it will support and it will give more nutrients to the developing spermatids, and it stimulates the spermatogenesis process. Okay. The Sertoli cells again release some few more hormones. They are inhibin hormone, and it will release the androgen binding protein. I will tell you what is the importance of the androgen binding protein. Okay, I will just explain these two in the last. Next come to the luteinizing hormone. So this luteinizing hormone released to the blood, and it will directly act on the Leydig cells of the seminiferous tubule. So these Leydig cells, they will secrete the male sex hormone or male androgens. That is very important, just keep it in mind. Testosterone, which is the male androgen or male sex hormone. Testosterone, this hormone secreted from the Leydig cells. Okay. Now this hormone, the testosterone, should be made available to the developing spermatids. Okay. So this testosterone will bind to the androgen binding protein, which is secreted from the Sertoli cells, and then these two, it will make the available to the more concentration to the developing spermatids. Okay. Gonadotropin releasing hormone act on the anterior pituitary. It will release the follicle stimulating hormone and luteinizing hormone. FSH secrete, it will act on the Sertoli cells. Sertoli cells nourish the developing spermatids. Okay, and it will stimulate the spermatogenesis process. And Sertoli cells, they will also release the androgen binding protein. It will combine with the testosterone, male sex hormone, which is secreted from the Leydig cells, and then these two, it will be made available to the developing spermatids. Okay, at the high amount of the testosterone, it will lead to the, it will produce more and more sperms. Okay. So now inhibin hormone. What is the function of the inhibin hormone? This inhibin hormone, it will give negative feedback to the whom? Hypothalamus. To reduce the gonadotropin releasing gonadotropin releasing hormone, and it will also give signals to the anterior pituitary to reduce the secretion of FSH and LH. If the concentration of the testosterone or if the production of the sperm has increased in the testis, in the seminiferous tubule, then immediately this inhibin hormone secreted from the Sertoli cells, it will give the negative feedback to the whom? Hypothalamus and anterior pituitary, so that hypothalamus will reduce the releasing of the gonadotropin releasing hormone, so that the anterior pituitary will also reduce its hormones, hormone secretion such as follicle stimulating hormone and luteinizing hormone. As a result, the production of the sperms will be decreased until the production will become the normal. Until the production of the sperms will become the normal, this inhibin signal, it will send the inhibin hormone, it will secrete the inhibin hormone. Okay, this completes the hormonal regulation of the spermatogenesis process. Now I will tell you some important questions might be asked from this topic, spermatogenesis topic. First one is for the exam. First one is explain the spermatogenesis process for 5 marks. For this you should explain the two steps, spermatocytogenesis and spermiogenesis. Okay, in the spermatocytogenesis that contains the 3 phases. In the spermiogenesis you should explain its definition. Okay, this is a 5 marks question. And then write a neat labeled diagram of the T.S. of the seminiferous tubule. Write a neat labeled diagram of the T.S. of the seminiferous tubule. And one more important question, that is write a schematic representation of the spermatogenesis process. Okay, and for 2 marks question, what is spermatogenesis and spermatocytogenesis and spermiogenesis and spermiation. Spermiation, don't get confused with these words. Spermatogenesis, that is the main topic of the today's topic. Spermatogenesis, spermatocytogenesis, spermiogenesis. Spermiogenesis is also called as an spermatogenesis. They may ask this word, spermatogenesis, to confuse you. Spermatogenesis. And then spermiation. What is spermiation? Okay, and explain the hormonal control of the spermatogenesis. Okay, and very important questions for the NEET are: what is the result of the first meiosis in the spermatogenesis process? That is secondary spermatocyte. Okay, what is the result of the second meiosis in the spermatogenesis? Spermatid. And entire spermatogenesis process takes how many days? 64 days. The meiosis, at the onset of the puberty, the meiosis in the spermatogenesis is regulated or initiated. The meiosis process was initiated by which transcription factor? STRO8 transcription factor. Okay, and which is the sperm mother cell? Which is the sperm mother cell? Sperm mother cells are spermatogonial cells. Which is the largest germ cell in the spermatogenesis, or which is the largest cell in the seminiferous tubule? That is primary spermatocyte. Don't write like this. Primary spermatocyte. Okay, one primary spermatocyte gives rise to how many spermatids or how many sperms? 4. Okay, what is the full form of the ABP? ABP, androgen binding protein. Okay, and what is the function of the AMH. I forgot to tell you this term. AMH is an anti-Mullerian hormone. So this hormone once again is secreted from the Sertoli cells. Anti-Mullerian hormone secreted from the Sertoli cells during the embryonic life. Okay. So this anti-Mullerian hormone suppress the female reproductive system. Okay, I am talking about the anti-Mullerian hormone. This anti-Mullerian hormone secreted from the Sertoli cells during the embryonic development. So this hormone suppress the Wolffian duct. This duct in the females, it will give rise to the female reproductive organs or a female reproductive system. Okay, during the embryonic development, Sertoli cells will secrete the anti-Mullerian hormone to suppress the Wolffian duct. Okay, in the males. Okay, this is the function of the anti-Mullerian hormone. What is the full form of the AMH? Anti-Mullerian hormone. Okay, few more important questions, like which is the male androgen? Which is the male androgen? That is testosterone. So they may ask like this, which is the male sex hormone? That is testosterone. Okay, and what is the function of the Sertoli cells? Function of the Sertoli cells, or which cells will secrete the androgen binding protein? Sertoli cells. And which cells will secrete the testosterone? That is male sex hormone. That is Leydig cells. Okay, these are some important questions might be asked in the NEET. Okay, this completes the spermatogenesis process and hormonal control. Thank you.